All right, let's talk some Rob Gronkowski. Listen, I think he's played well. I think Rob Gronkowski has done a lot really well for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers and deserves a lot of credit. One of the things that he's done incredibly well is just be that consistent third option. You know, obviously we talk about Tampa Bay having three fantastic receivers. Well, Antonio Brown's been hurt for most of the season, so having Gronkowski kind of be that third option matters especially a lot in a cover two zone, which is kind of the one coverage that Tampa Bay has struggled with at points this season. And I don't know if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers win this game against the Colts if Gronkowski does not play. So let's talk about really a lot of why Gronkowski matters so much to this football team. So let's start off with this play. This is a perfect example of exactly what I'm talking about. It's going to be a zone coverage play. It's cover two zone. And the reason why this can give Tampa Bay some trouble is, what does Tampa Bay like to do? What does Bruce Arians like to do? Push the ball down the field. You have guys like Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Antonio Brown who can run great deep routes. You know, Mike Evans is definitely, he can do other stuff. He's mostly a deep route guy. Godwin can at least be a slot guy, get some of the over the middle stuff, but still you can pay him some extra attention. And then what else do you really have to do if you're Tampa Bay? Well, you can hit Rob Gronkowski, who's running a route that's just going to get into a gap in coverage. And with the chemistry that Gronkowski and Brady have, it's just such a good pairing. And right when this play begins, you're going to notice that Gronkowski really gets open right away. And a big part of this is because, for one thing, the Colts are not exactly just doing a traditional cover two. It's sort of a Tampa two, and they were disguising here. But again, disguises only go so well when you're doing it against Brady. He's going to spot an open Rob Gronkowski. So the fact that you can have kind of this third option who you're not paying as much attention to, who is still an elite player, yeah, that gives you a lot of stuff to work with. The good throw from Brady, it's behind Gronkowski, but it's intentionally behind Gronkowski because, again, you want to throw it to where the players aren't. You don't want to throw it to where the players are. And by the players, I mean the defenders. You want to make sure you hit the gap. You don't hit your player. You hit the gap in coverage. That's what Brady did. So, and Gronkowski knows that kind of stuff can happen and knows, hey, in this spot, I might actually get the ball here instead of there. That's where chemistry comes in. So good stuff by both of those guys. You can also, if you're Tampa Bay, run stuff like this, which is sort of zone busters to beat zone coverage. And to think about these types of plays is you really do need multiple players to perform well. You can't run these types of plays with just one good receiver. And so that's why having several different receivers can help and can actually get one guy open. On this play, what you're doing is, you know that cover two zone is likely. This is what the Colts like to run a lot. So you know that this coverage is possibly coming, especially when it's kind of the coverage that has given you trouble in the past. And what you're doing is you're having Gronkowski run a deeper route over the middle while you have Godwin run underneath. And so who are you going to cover, Rob Gronkowski or Godwin? Typically, you would think Godwin. And look at how when the play begins, Gronkowski is able to kind of get into that gap in coverage a little bit. It's not wide open, but Brady doesn't need it to be wide open. And again, Gronkowski knows, okay, this is the gap. I'm going to kind of just sit into this coverage a little bit. This is also where that chemistry stuff comes in. As you see, Brady makes a really good throw. And again, Gronkowski was able to get into the spot where he wanted to get to. And so you're able to pick up the first down right there. So good stuff by both of those guys, I would say. And also good stuff by Chris Godwin, too. Everyone running their route effectively. This one's another one. It's a very similar idea. Honestly, this is a lot of what Tampa Bay did. It's not too fancy or anything. You don't have to get too creative. What you can do is just have Gronkowski run into a gap in coverage and hit him. It's not that difficult, but they can do it well, so it's hard to stop. Watch, right when this play begins, you're going to see Gronkowski does get open. The safeties have to kind of cover the receiver a little bit more, playing a little bit closer towards the sideline. So that's what allows for your tight end to get open there. So the fact that you have, so many options, that makes things just so much easier. And it's why the Buccaneers offense can roll a little bit better, because they have someone like Gronkowski who can consistently do stuff like that. And also you have some stuff like this, where what's going to happen is it's going to be a cover two zone, and you're just running a quick zone buster. And this time it's not even with an elite receiver that you're, using this with. This is two tight ends, Rob Gronkowski and Cameron Brate. But they're two good receiving tight ends. And again, when you have this situation, typically that's not the first thought is, oh my God, we have to worry about Rob Gronkowski. But really, that might have to start being your thought, especially if you're playing cover 2 zone, because the way this play works is Cameron Brate's going to run a route over the middle. This can get some attention in that way, and Gronkowski just runs a route where he's going to eventually be running a deep route towards the sideline. But because of the first route, which will push the safety further over the middle, there could be an opening. Right when this play begins, you are going to see that at this point, this is when you can tell it's looking pretty good for Gronkowski to get open. And you can also look over at Brady at this point and see that he's literally in the throwing motion as of right now. So he spots this. Gronkowski obviously knows what's happening. Brady's throw is maybe a bit high, but Gronkowski makes the catch anyways and even breaks a tackle and is able to gain even more yards. I mean, one of the underrated things about Gronkowski, we all knew this at his prime, but I feel like we've kind of forgotten. Like, he's a really difficult person to tackle. I think out of the people I would least like to have to try and tackle, like, I don't know where he is on that list. He's on that list. I would never want to, I mean, listen, any NFL player would, destroy me if I tried to tackle them, I think. Maybe I could get a punter or two. I don't know. But probably not, honestly, because just the talent disparity. But regardless, my main point is he's just a tough guy to bring down. And there's no better example than something like this, where this is kind of a hilarious situation because you have 3 guys lined up to your right that are eligible receivers. Rob Gronkowski, you have Scotty Miller, and you have Chris Godwin. It's Gronkowski, and the closest to the offensive line. You then have Godwin, who's in the middle, and Miller, who's on the outside. And what do you think you should do here? If you're running a screen pass, typically you'd think, okay, give the ball to Scotty Miller, Godwin can block, and of course Rob Gronkowski can block. They're doing it the other way, and it's because it's a good play to have the ball in Rob Gronkowski's hands. Watch how this play looks like it's going to be dead, but Gronkowski makes a little move to get past number 30 there for Indianapolis and just runs over a couple guys, still picks up the first down on a 3rd down play. That was a crucial 3rd down. They had to get the ball to the 45-yard line, and Gronkowski just muscled his way over there. So yeah, Gronkowski is all the way back. That's the way I think when I see that play. So yeah, I mean, listen, it's very fun stuff. And, when we talk about football, we tend to always talk about the stars. And listen, it's not like Gronkowski isn't a star. He's a future first ballot Hall of Famer. He's absolutely a star. But really what I kind of mean is we talk about, who's your best player? Who's your best receiving option? That's the guy we focus on. But that's not really how football works. Like, oftentimes depth matters just as much, if not more, than just having an elite option. Now, there's times when having Mike Evans is going to really help Tampa Bay when he gets one-on-one matchups because, that will happen. He can take advantage of those. But part of it is, the only reason he's really going to get some of those one-on-one matchups is because the pressure is getting taken off him from all the other stuff. So, and a big chunk of that is Gronkowski. I don't think it's a coincidence now that we've seen Tampa Bay in 4 straight games at this point play with play against a team that mostly plays cover 2 zone, or at least mostly did play cover 2 zone against them, and they lost the first 2, won the next 2. The 2 they lost, they didn't have Gronkowski. That was Washington and New Orleans. The 2 they won, the Giants and the Colts. They do have Gronkowski, and their offense just looks way better. It's a much easier way to beat this coverage when you have a good tight end, and they still have other good tight ends, like, Cameron Brate, and O.J. Howard is still technically a member of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, despite not getting a ton of playing time, but clearly neither one of them are Gronkowski, so having him helps a lot. That's what I think. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments below. Always love hearing from you, and of course, as always, thanks for watching.